Hello people! I'm Ginnymetheral. I'm a 4th generation witch of traditional bent, and many of the spells that I show you in my videos I learnt at my mother's knee and have been passed down through several generations of my family. Today's video is part of my Almanac series, which means we're going to look at the high points and the low points throughout the month of November. What spells you should do, what traditions there are, what you should avoid. As part of my Almanac series, I will put the details of the playlist of all the others because it's a great series that shows you how to use witchcraft throughout each month of the year. If you are a full-time practicing witch, this is great, this series, because it can give you ideas of what to do, the timings, etc. And if you're dipping in and out of witchcraft, which many people do, especially when they first become a witch, then it's a really good series to help you sort of keep on track. Now, November is the month at the beginning of the witch's new year, and it is the first month of the year of darkness, or the period of darkness, I should say. It starts with Samhain Eve, Halloween, where we celebrate the beginning of the new year, and this is the Day of the Dead. Now, as Latin America knows, the 1st of November is all about the Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead goes from the 1st to the 2nd of November, and the 1st of November is when the Los Angelitos, which are the little angels, who are the spirits of the children who have departed this life, are commemorated and venerated with offerings, prayers and love. 2nd of November is when the grown-ups get their turn, and there's a bit more fire to it with a lot of dancing and drinking. Celtic tradition also has the same situation, where the month of November was for the Dance of the Dead. So the dead would rise from their graves on Halloween and then dance through the nights of November with the fairies, with wine, with song. And this finished on the 30th of November, when they would depart from this land back to their graves, not until the next year. So there is an awful lot of November traditions and customs to do with the dead, hence this Latin American custom of the Day of the Dead, which is a really beautiful way of connecting with your ancestors. I wish we celebrated that more in this country. We've slightly forgotten how to venerate and commemorate those who have died, who are our loved ones. So this is November, it is the month for the dead. I'm going to run through quickly the varying dates in November and what you can do and any spells that would be good for this time. So the 1st of November, as I'm sure you are all now aware, is the start of the month of the dead. And this begins with the setting of the sun on Samhain Eve on Halloween. So as the sun sets on Halloween, that is the start of the new year and the start of the month of the dead. This is why during Halloween celebrations we leave food out and on our hearths and commemorate the dead with apples and nuts and loaves of bread and wine, dancing, song and fire. It's to scare them off or welcome them in, depending on which dead you've got near you. Meanwhile, in Latin America, Los Angelitos is celebrated on the 1st of November with offerings of food on their altars, sugar skulls with the names of the dead emblazoned on them. Prayers are said, offerings are laid, and commemoration is made to those poor children who have died and are departed. This Day of the Dead festival is pretty much exactly the same as the traditions that I outlined in my Halloween video, and I'll put my Halloween video here so you can see it, because this is pertinent to this month of November, so do watch it. Pretty much the only difference between Los Angelitos' Day of the Dead and the Halloween traditions is that we didn't have those beautiful sugar skulls decorated with the names of their loved ones, which are honouring them on this day and their return to this earth. 2nd of November in Latin America then has the Day of the Dead for the grown-ups, because they like something a bit more spicy. So lots of drinking, lots of partying, and those wonderful parades, etc. that they do with commemoration and families. The Catholic Church has the 2nd of November as All Souls Day, which is sort of the same as the Latin American tradition of the grown-ups on the Day of the Dead. The All Souls in the Catholic Church meant that you venerated and prayed to the dead to help them move on from purgatory into heaven. But this is a really important thing to do anyway, because sometimes spirits get lost on this earth, and this is when they become ghosts. And so to pray to a spirit, and you're giving them your energy and your help to enable them to move on from this earth to the world of spirit. So on these days, it is really important to remember those loved ones who have departed this earth. And at the end of this video, I will give you a small ritual and spell and show you how to help them move forward. Now, the new moon falls on the night of the 14th, 15th of November this year, because it actually falls after midnight, so technically the 15th. This is the start of the Hindu festival of Diwali, which is the festival of lights, where they get together, the Hindus get together and go to the temple, commemorate their families, they wear fine clothes, eat beautiful food, and decorate everything with lights. And this is to show that the darkness will not overcome them. On this day, there is a tradition amongst witches of old that on the night of the new moon, you would take a candle and light it and place it in the windowsill to ensure that the light would come from that new moon and bless your house. This lighting of the candle and just placing it on the windowsill is especially good if you're planning any prosperity spells, because it will really help to draw down the moon's energy into your abode so that when you plan your prosperity spells, they will have the best effect. Now, on the 22nd of November, which is a Sunday, this is known as Stir Up Sunday. And this is a very traditional Christian, and I have no other word for it, spell. You know, and this is such a spell that the Christians have invented. It was the day, Stir Up Sunday, when you stirred up your Christmas pudding. And there is very much a way to do this. Now, if this isn't kitchen witchery, I will eat my hat. Let me tell you what they do. First of all, you take 13 ingredients for your Christmas pudding or cake. And these 13 ingredients are supposed to apparently represent the disciples and the Christ. However, 13 in numerology is a hugely significant number. 13th card of a tarot deck is the card of death, which means bring about change. The number 13 is a very feminine number. A female will have 13 cycles throughout a year. The moon has 13 moon phases throughout the year. So when you've got your 13 ingredients assembled, the whole household gets together and grasps hold of the spoon, each of them holding a bit of the spoon, and then stirring it clockwise, which is from east to west. They make a wish. Now, if all of them are holding the spoon at the same time, they make the same wish. If you did it individually and each one of you took a turn stirring up the pudding, then you made your own wish. I mean, the Christian tradition says that this stirring in represents the journey of the Magi to visit the Christ child at Christmas, and also you stir in the luck for the pudding. Which, if that's not against the Christian religion, I don't know what is. However, I love the fact that they include this Magi coming to visit the Christ child, because they were witches of the finest calibre. They divined by the stars, they understood how to see the future, they spoke with the angels in order to visit the Christ child, and they bought charms. It had incense, in frankincense, myrrh, and essential oil, and gold. All three of these were incredibly associated with witchery and still are. The Christian church calls them the wise men, but I think they're witches. I always have done. I was most associated with the wise men because they understood what was going on. This Christmas pudding is then placed in a round pudding basin and boiled. So it's got this roundness like the moon. It's filled with silver charms, and silver is beloved by the moon. It's placed in a bag, put in the water and boiled away, which is your water element. It's then taken out and it looks like the earth, doesn't it? With its great big round brown lump. It's then placed on a plate, poured with brandy and set alight. And that's your fire element. It's then blown out by the person who's there, and that's your air element. It's so symbolic, the Christmas pudding. Before you eat it, silver charms are inserted to it, and these are divining charms. You know, if you got the silver sixpence, it meant you would have wealth. If you got the thimble, it meant that you would be thrifty or a spinster. If you got the bachelor's button, you would not get married this year. And if you got the wedding ring, you would. So many different of these charms are placed inside it, and having done all this stirring, which is your wooden spoon and casting a circle, and then you're doing all this moulding to look like the moon and using all the different elements of the earth, air, fire and water, and then finally you put charms in it. If this is not a spell, I would definitely eat every hat I possess. I'm eating a lot of hats this week, aren't I? They're quite tasty, so... So Stir Up Sunday is on the 22nd. The next date in the calendar is the 30th of November, which is the last day of the Dance of the Dead. Now this is a day when all good people should remain at home, lock their doors and do not answer them to anybody, because if you do, you might invite the ghosts in and they will stay with you for the next year rather than leave and depart back to whence they came. November is a sweet month actually. It is very much venerated towards the dead. The good witch or warlock will make sure that they visited the graves of those who they had loved and lost. They would tell them of all the news of the family, who had been married, who was born, who had moved house, what jobs they'd got. He would also inform them of any upcoming changes that were going to happen in a household, so that the spirit can help them and smooth the path for that change. So I have made a wreath out of willow, which is the structure, rosemary for remembrance, thyme, because that is how you speak with the dead, and lavender for love. And it is with this wreath that I am going to venerate the dead of this November. You can see that it's just a twisted willow hoop round. Now there's a reason for all these. The willow is a tree of guardianship. The ancients used to plant willow by the mounds of the dead so that they could guard them, because it takes 3 days, or up to 3 days, for the dear departed to leave their physical body and enable them to move on into the world of spirit. The rosemary I have put in here is obviously for remembrance, because we do not wish to forget those who we loved. Lavender for love. And then I finally just added the remaining flowers that are in the garden at the moment to the wreath to make it look pretty. Now I want you to carry out this spell on the night of the new moon. And it's a very simple spell to venerate and commemorate the lost and departed. I want you to take a white candle. I want you to hold that candle in your hand and remember your loved ones. Remember their eyes, their smile, their laughter. And I want to take your candle, place it upon the windowsill on the night of the 14th of November. Light the candle and taking your wreath, place it around the candle. If it doesn't fit around the candle, then just place it by the candle, that is fine. And imagine the smoke going up to greet your loved one with your energy and warmth. When you come to bed that night, I want you to blow out the candle. And as you blow the candle, say aloud a wish. It can be any wish, anything that you like, as long as it's about you, not about anyone else. It has to be about you. That's wish magic. It always is about you. So you might wish for £1 million. Perfectly fine wish. Go for it. And your dear departed loved ones will hear your wish. They will have felt the warmth and love from the wreath that you have made for them, and they'll help you make this wish come true. In the morning, take your wreath and place it either on the grave of your loved one, or if there is no grave, or maybe they were cremated, or maybe you can't get to the grave, burn the wreath, scatter the ashes somewhere that has much meaning for both of you. Really important to do a spell for your ancestors, especially in this month of November, because we need to know where we came from and how we got here. Otherwise we'll never learn. People never learn anyway, but we really won't. Try harder, everyone, I think. Try harder. I'd really appreciate it if you would put down the name of your loved one in the comments below, and let us all speak and remember those who have gone before. I'll see you in my next video.